I think there's two fundamental things to understand. ChatGPT is a technology that absolutely, the hype cycle, way overpromises. And then all of a sudden they realize, well, ChatGPT isn't putting out 100% factual information. So therefore, this is garbage. But there's also the response of human beings who are just absolutely terrified that ChatGPT is going to take their job. So you also have a bias towards a certain future outcome that is centered on self-preservation. So if you're afraid of the technology, you're also going to try and speak a certain reality into existence. That's what we always do.
It's already warm in here, isn't it?
Well, you're wearing a sweater.
Yeah.
Are you nervous? It's been a while.
Has been a bit. I don't even know. It is warm, though. I don't know.
Can I just say it's good to see you again?
Wait, this is the episode starting?
That's always up to you, because I would find early on that we would be recording and I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'd say some choice things. It could have gotten me canceled.
That was season 1. This is season 2. Things change.
Yeah, they do.
We improve.
Yeah, here we are, season 2.
Yeah.
This is really great.
You know what I like? I think when I talk with the headphones on, I sound cooler on the output.
Yes, you do.
Why is that?
Well, I think the headphones help to make us, it forces us to take ourselves more seriously.
Okay.
Because we sound professional.
Maybe it's you? Or is it the headphone? Or is it combo?
I didn't want to say.
It's never one thing. It's pretty dynamic. It's a lot of variables.
Yeah. I like how you're using big words. You don't. There you go. Got a little closer.
Yeah. No, but it's like the lower voice. I sound different on this podcast. This is my favorite show.
I don't feel the need to. It's the same here.
Yeah.
But I don't feel the need to scream when I have headphones on.
Oh, so we're talking about two different things. We're going on two different
It's okay.
Like related. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just like, almost. Yeah.
I like it though.
Yeah.
No, I do. I like listening to this show.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone back and listened to this show?
I have.
Older episodes or just like randomly driving down the street? You'd be on a bike. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
That's okay. That's all right. You know me. I hate it when people interrupt me. I would never do that to somebody. Yeah. Thank you. We're definitely going to break those out soon. I'm going to say it's allergies. It's not COVID.
No, it can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should call this episode New Variant.
Yeah. New Variant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is season 2. So you got New Variant 2 /
I like this.
Jared Eric.
Yeah.
It'd be something better. Jarek. The Jarek. Jarek V2 episode of.
No, you have to make it sound very clinical.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. You can do it. Go. Try it.
All right. So if it's a variant, we'd call it, I don't know.
Oh, you know what you didn't do?
What?
Shit. You didn't do the clap.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, we can do it for the people. So, because someone asked, like, how do you do that? So
here we go.
The video will be off, but.
Button set.
That's good.
All right. So this is the official start then.
Well, no, that could be the start.
Well, it could be if you're a subscriber. You pay $5 a month.
The video will be off. That won't be. But the episode, when I said something along the lines of this
podcast, and I interrupted you on purpose. You know what I love about this podcast? We like to tell everybody how the sausage is made while we're making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little do they know, we don't know how to make the sausage.
Shit, I said that like episode 1, season 1.
You used the sausage analogy?
No.
You should have.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that we discussed that.
Yeah.
But for all our new subscribers,
yes,
we do talk about how we're doing it while we're doing it.
Yeah, that's because we need fodder.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this would be a 10-minute podcast.
Yeah.
So here we are.
That's an OnlyFans thing. Like they do it and this is how you do it. Oh, God. That's bad.
Yeah. So here we are, man.
So this is how you start a new season of a podcast.
Yeah. You just kind of awkwardly stumble into it. And the topics eventually find themselves.
Yeah.
And we get to participate in that.
I do write down some things that I've come across because they just come to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
That's not how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's it work?
I don't know. We just talk because I don't want to just randomly bring up topics.
Are you kidding me? That's the whole ethos of the show.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that I wrote down that sounds like, oh, that's unnatural. I don't know.
It's been a while. So you're getting self-conscious.
No, my mic's like just a little loose.
You might want to tighten that up.
Tighten it up.
I did that actually to
you did?
Play mind games with you.
No, it's totally jacked.
I don't know. These are terrible mic stands.
You don't like them?
No, I mean, they look good, but when you actually put your hands on, they feel like they're going to fall apart.
I like the one. It's like a metal and it like matriculating arm, and they're attached to that. there's like one arm and it's attached to the arm.
Oh.
It's like a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want a robot microphone.
Like when you have to blow your nose, it knows to like pull away so that the audio's off.
Ooh, it's intelligent. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
where we're going.
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's your boy or girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Is it an it or is it a boy or is it a girl? Like,
it's nothing. People keep trying to
identify it.
Give, anthropomorphizing this thing.
Yeah.
It's not. I have plenty of thoughts in ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. We all do.
Well, it's a big philosophical discussion going on about it.
A lot of high horses going on right now with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off.
What have you heard?
Just like it's going to end civilization as we know it. Everyone's got opinions about it, but have they used it? Do they understand it? They talked about it?
Right.
I think it's the best employee I've ever had. Sorry, shout out to all the former employees.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being serious.
It doesn't talk back.
No. No. Yeah, no emotion.
Well, I mean...
Yet. I'm not saying it can't.
It expresses enthusiasm.
Yes, it can express emotion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have emotions. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rewrite it for the 12th time, idiot. You'd be like, sure thing.
Yeah.
I'll gladly do that for you, sir.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I want that?
Here's what I'm doing, though. When I'm using ChatGPT, I'm complimenting it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still in Jasper, but they're using ChatGPT.
They use the same thing.
That's the backup for it.
Yeah.
So I still compliment it. So if I'm trying to write something, which I haven't actually put anything out that it's created yet, because it just takes time and I haven't had time lately.
Yeah.
But I'll start a process and I'll say, hey, listen, you are this. You're an expert in X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Right back, it's like, thank you. I value my expertise in this, and this. It's like, now, as an expert in X, Y, and Z, I need you to create this, and this. And so it kicks back much better feedback.
Yeah.
As opposed to just general. Now it's going, oh, well, I'm an expert in this. You told me I'm an expert in this, so I'm going to do this like an expert.
Right.
It's interesting to see how that works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a one shot. It's like, you're an expert in this. I want you to write whatever, a thesis about, I don't know, the future of the tomato industry.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to give you a feedback. It's going to do it. But now it requires dialogue.
Yeah.
In the form of the way ChatGPT can take the dialogue, which is text, through a chat-like system, and back and forth, and then questioning. It makes mistakes.
I know.
So you have to pay attention, which is fine. We all make mistakes, by the way. That's the thing that pisses me off. Is like, well, they get upset when it makes mistakes. And I'm like, when's the last time you talked to a human? When's the last time you searched Google or read a blog post?
Are riddled with mistakes.
I'm saying. Yeah. Experiences, biases.
Physical attributes. No.
This is bad. I don't know. Someone's upset. But yeah, like it's filled with mistakes. Yeah. Everything is.
Of course.
That's my point. So why do we expect, and we might have touched on this in the past. We talked about with Tesla.
Yeah.
When auto driving or self-driving take over.
Okay. You can be all right there?
No, when self-driving makes a mistake, it's like, oh, that's the end of that. It's like,
well, sure.
Look at the road.
Well, so things like Tesla, go ahead. It's extra scrutiny because of the big promise that technology is making. So if the big promise that the technology is making, which again, as I say all the time, technology is the one thing in our world that overpromises and underdelivers 100% of the time. So again, you have to adjust your expectations of what you're getting out of this technology. So when ChatGPT 4 became mainstream, a lot of people are like, oh, this is it. I'm thinking, no, it's not. I mean, just look at every other technology. So self-driving cars. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, people were like, oh, by the year 2022, the vast majority of cars or fleets, trucks is going to be self-driving. I was like, bullshit. No, it's not. I'm a futurist, right?
Yeah.
I always have to remind myself of that.
I heard too. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Is that real?
I don't know. It depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But again, it's just, you always have to ask yourself, what is required in order for that type of scenario to happen? And when it came to self-driving cars, it was the immediate and obvious thing to me was that you needed an infrastructure that was smart, that could communicate with the vehicles in real time. We don't have that. We still have a dumb infrastructure that was built for the 20th century. And that thing is collapsing all the time. So at some point,
literally,
if you really want to have a fleet of vehicles that are all self-driving, those things have to be in communication with the street.
Yeah.
Well, the street has to be smart. I mean, everything, like the buildings have to communicate with the road, has to communicate with the lights, has to communicate with the vehicle, and the vehicles have to be able to communicate with each other.
Yeah, it's hard.
And the only way something like that could take off at a rapid pace is if you had an authoritarian type government where there was no open market and competition.
But did the technology promise that?
Absolutely.
Who? Elon?
No. Okay, so...
Or was it the media?
It's a mix of all of them. So the technology is put out with the potential to do something. Right? Like, oh, the potential's there for 10 years down the road for this to be the primary vehicle on the road. Potential's there, but there's a whole lot of other factors that go into play in order to make that thing happen. So then you got technologists and futurists who get up and just start spouting off, oh, in 10 years, this is going to be, it's like, shut up.
Right.
Show me how you came to that conclusion, right? And I'm not saying they're all wrong. What I'm saying is that long-term forecasts are notoriously wrong. The evidence is always there, is that if you're making predictions that are, 5 to 10 years out, they're almost always going to be way off. So don't put too much time and energy into trusting that. It doesn't mean ignore it. It just means saying, well, that's one possibility. That's a good starting point. What else is possible there? What are they not talking about? Right? Not just to write them off. Like, I think that's also a lame thing to do.
Right.
If somebody puts something out and you just start picking apart little pieces of it and say, well, then the whole thing is wrong.
Right.
That's just as bad, if not worse. What you really just need to be able to do is say, okay, I see what you're saying, but here's what I think is missing.
Yeah.
I guess just critical thinking 101.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So with ChatGPT, again, everybody's, I think there's two fundamental things to understand. ChatGPT is a technology that absolutely, the hype cycle, way overpromises. And then all of a sudden they realize, well, ChatGPT isn't putting out 100% factual information. So therefore, this is garbage. But there's also the response of human beings who are just absolutely terrified that ChatGPT is going to take their job. So you also have a bias towards a certain future outcome that is centered on self-preservation. So if you're afraid of the technology, you're also going to try and speak a certain reality into existence. That's what we always do. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is, I think I might have forgotten the other part.
That's okay.
That's all right.
You can come back to it.
Yeah. I should just ask ChatGPT what my other part was going to be.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Let it fly.
You had a cold. You had COVID. That's long COVID. That's your OG COVID kicking in.
Way back from Delta?
Mixed with the new COVID, that's when shit gets interesting.
Yeah. It's the remix.
Yeah.
COVID the remix.
Yeah. I don't know if ChatGPT.
Pause. I got the COVID variant name. RM23 Remix 2023.
Oh, I like that.
That's good, isn't it?
That is a throwback.
We own it.
Yeah.
RM23.
Yeah. By the domain.
Carry on. You were
.gg. That's my favorite domain extension right now.
.gg?
Means good game.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a good one. All of these are owned by other countries' domain extensions, by the way. So like IO is Indian Ocean, AI is Anguilla. So .ai is becoming a big one right now.
I did not know IO was Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
I just knew a lot of tech companies were taking those.
Yeah. It's become a tech thing. So GG, so there's a lot of Metaverse extensions. So we might be saviors.gg.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
How about the Metaverse?
Yeah.
That's a hot mess, isn't it?
Meta. No, it's coming back. It's young.
Sure.
Yeah.
You and Mark.
No.
Keep holding on to that dream.
No, that's not what we're talking about. We'll come back to that.
You were about to say something about ChatGPT, and then I rudely interrupted about COVID.
No, it was good. If you have an idea, go with it because you'll forget it. Just like I probably forgot what I was about to say.
You're so easily manipulated to complimenting me.
Bad.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know if ChatGPT or the makers behind it, like a Sam Altman, promised 100% foolproof. Like that I don't think happened.
Yeah.
I think people are assuming that, or they have this expectation that it should always be correct. I think it's, no, dummy. You still need human input to make this thing right. It's like if you're going to go to school and write an essay and say, I need to write an essay on why World War II started. Here's a thought I have, and it gives you a theory, and here's your essay, and you hand it in. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it's supposed to go.
Especially if ChatGPT is feeling a little fascist at the time. Right. It might give you a very wrong slant on it.
Yeah. So it's like, it requires dialogue, like I was saying before. And I don't think it's perfect. Like, I just had something corrected the other day by ChatGPT. And then I said, can you tell me the corrections that you made on it? And it listed out all the corrections.
Yeah.
So I read the corrections, 11 of them. I looked at one of them and I was like, you didn't change anything there.
Yeah.
You added a number. You want it to be 11, not 10.
Yeah.
I said, are you sure about that? Because it was like, maybe I'm misreading. Oh, I apologize. Yeah. I apologize. Yeah. I didn't make a correction there. That's an error. Here's the updated correction list.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
And then I said, okay, now that you've lied to me once, ChatGPT, can you double check all those corrections? Then it did it and said, I verified all of them. Everything else is good. I'm like, that's good stuff. That was a simple one. You have to have, there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of stuff going back and forth. I don't think ChatGPT promised perfection at any point. I think it's everyone coming into the mix, just like in the self-driving vehicles.
Yeah.
maybe he did. Maybe Elon or someone else promised that these cars won't crash.
No, I don't think that the makers of it don't ever do that. It's the voice for who's promoting the story. It's all of it comes down to story. And by the way, I do now remember point number 2 because of what you just said.
Yeah.
Let me state that because I will forget it again.
Yeah.
Damn it. I think I lost it again. Wow.
This episode has one focus and one focus only for you to remember that thought. It's all right.
What was it? Oh, man. Oh. Wow. Gone. It's amazing.
It's okay.
You know what? We're just being real. But this is why AI will take over our world.
Yeah. I will say there are times when ChatGPT gets stumped too. It just stops or pauses, or like it'll write. If it's writing something long, and then it'll just stop, and you're like, you can't stop there. And then you got to ask it to rewrite it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're like, I'm sorry, ChatGPT's over the limit for the hour. Yeah.
Well, again, I use it on Jasper, and I've got so many credits on there because I just have not been using it. But I feel like, all right, I need to take some time with this. But I'll put something in, an input in, and I'll ask it to rewrite it in a certain fashion.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at its output, and I'm like, you changed nothing. You just, you know. So I'll go like, nope, no, this is a poor output. You know, so we're training it to do what it's supposed to do.
You can feed it so much context as instead of, you can feed it data, information, an article written by, say, the New York Times. You could also feed it style and tone. I want to write it like this person. You could say,
that's great.
Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, the way he writes is a way, he's not even writing it. It's his people, but it's the way he talks.
Yeah.
Okay. Write it in Gary V style. And here's an example of how he would write.
Right.
Now take what this says and write it like Gary V just wrote it. And it's like, boom, they just got it. And you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
We did this and we've talked about my dad's novel.
Yeah.
So I took chapter 1, fed it, and then fed it a transcription of a podcast that we did together.
Yeah.
And now say, create the summary of this episode as the author wrote it, like it was a book, but also in a way introducing the pod. Holy shit.
Did it kick out a pretty awesome?
Yes. Couple mistakes.
Sure.
Got the main character's names misspelled, which is interesting because it was spelled correctly in this book and in the transcription. So the transcription from riverside.fm got it with a V, not a PH. And ChatGPT misspelled it, which that was just random. But I also think it's maybe just testing.
Could be.
Human people.
Yeah.
Human people.
Human people. That's good, as opposed to artificial people.
Yeah,
which is a whole other philosophical discussion.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's deep.
Yeah.
That's good. But ChatGPT, this is wrong, but this is funny. Maybe it's not wrong. Set a record for the fastest app to reach 100 million users. That's correct.
Yeah.
Surpassing, this is what's on top of Google, surpassing Google Plus, which took 1 year and 2 months to reach that milestone, which is probably a completely bullshit number because anyone who had a Google email address automatically got Google Plus.
Yeah.
But that's hilarious. Google Plus doesn't exist anymore. It's actually TikTok, which took 9 months to get to that.
And Google Plus was what, 12 years ago? Google Plus dumped. I mean, was it 10 years ago? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had a short shelf life.
Yeah. Didn't last.
Because nobody wanted to use it.
But Google is just like, they'll fail. They'll make mistakes. But of course, so much. And so people are, what's going to happen to Google? Is Google SEO going to matter? Does Google matter? You know, because people make fun of, like, I was telling someone, you know, while ChatGPT's out here changing the world, like overnight, Google's founders are on the beach somewhere counting their bills or something.
Google's in a position where any new disruptive technology that comes up out of AI, they'll just buy it. Because most companies, these startup companies, are looking to exit.
Well, it's like Microsoft gave all that money.
Microsoft will buy. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, they've given, I think, maybe 2 rounds, right? To OpenAI.
I don't know
how
many
a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've given a lot.
Well, Elon came out because he was one of the original founders of OpenAI. Yeah. I think he called for a moratorium, a 6-month moratorium on all new developments.
Yeah. He's worried.
Yeah. But that brings me to the thing that I've had conversations with folks about too, is that I think on a much, not just a utilitarian level, right? Or a surface level, you know, the concern about AI, the question about it becoming sentient, and depending on how you define that. But I think too that part of the concern for a lot of people isn't just that AI is going to be able to do knowledge work like people have. I think the question really comes down to, it's more about like what defines a human, right? So this now gets into the human soul. Yeah, I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
Right. So the question is, well, does AI have a soul? And if you really think about humanity, and if you're just looking at everything like, look, we're just a bunch of cells put together and we happen to be here, and then when we die, it's all done. Sure. You know, who knows, right? I don't necessarily think that. I think there's definitely so much we just don't know. Humans are really good at getting really arrogant about what we already know, but we don't know shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we continuously find year after year how much we didn't know the year before. So we're constantly evolving, growing, and learning. I think the more that we learn, the more we realize we don't really have any idea. So I don't know. I think the question that a lot of people are asking, whether they're doing it consciously or unconsciously, is, what defines a human? What is it that makes us different than machines? Have we just been looking at the value of humanity and its ability to produce knowledge or to create or write certain things? Because ChatGPT is only a threat to it's a technology that's threatening to people who make their living off of communicating, essentially, right? Or who make their living off of, what the concern around Google search engine. Well, if ChatGPT can just tell me the answer, then why do I need to actually search for this? Right. So if it takes the time and the energy away from the end user, then that could be a threat to certain businesses. But that's no different than anything in our history. The first industrial revolution did that to farmers.
Yeah.
The automobile did that to horse and buggies.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, this is nothing new. So what's the real concern?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of articulating this, but I think, COVID made people really go inward and question a lot of things. Like, what am I doing with my life? What does my life mean? People are looking for purpose, looking for meaning. I think that's also why there's been this hyper focus on how you identify. Do you identify as this or as that or whatever? Because people are looking for meaning and purpose. And then you got ChatGPT coming along, being able to mimic in a very frightening and accurate way human speech and behavior. Now all of a sudden they're like, this is going to take over humanity. Well, I think that's going to force us into a place of saying, well, what is humanity?
Yeah, that's good. I think you're right, though. They're focused on something, jobs.
Sure.
You're going to not have your job anymore. So they're talking about programmers at a gaming company. They're saying, well, programmers are like, well, I'm out because this thing can program. So what do they need me for? So the company's saying, well, no, if I can make you the programmer 100 times more productive, and you could update this many characters or this many code something in the game, then you're better off. Sorry, I turned this up too loud.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we talked about this before. People have to look at technology as a means to an end.
Yeah.
But if you value your work, if everything that you do and you see the value of your work as your input and not your output, then you're missing the boat.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely ripe for disruption. If your value is in all, how many things can you input into a system every day? Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You got to be able to look at your value as what you can produce.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like in the, this economic philosophy of like, human production, that's what makes them value. What I mean is, what can I contribute to the world, to this organization, to my community? And how do I utilize technology to help me get to that end faster, where you're not wasting energy on mindless tasks because AI is able to accomplish those, and you're increasing creative energy towards a much better outcome. Does it make sense?
It does. Well, it's like you're back on, if they look at like a CEO of a company, don't work in the business, work on the business.
Right.
So it's bringing people back up above the work that they do.
Yeah.
And letting something here. So I was saying before, it's like, well, this has been the best employee we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because it can do a lot of the things without emotion, without frustration.
Yeah.
And just get it done. Yeah. And so you can work up here. It still requires work. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that someone's like, well, this is going to replace.
That's point number 2.
Yeah. Oh, I did? You got it?
Came back. Yes.
I guess it's over. Let's go. What is it?
Sorry. Well, it's that
it's not over.
The fact that number 1 was just that there's just this unrealistic expectation of perfection. The other thing is just that human beings we're just way too attention deficit or lazy to put the work in to make ChatGPT really, like, you want it to do something incredible for you.
Yeah.
You got to spend time with it. I mean, that's why, I'm still paying a monthly fee, and I haven't taken the time that I need to really play around with this thing. And I have, designed my life where I've got free time.
Yeah.
And I still haven't had enough time to do it.
Yeah.
Or I just haven't made the time.
It's a commitment.
It is. Yeah. It is a commitment.
If you're into it.
Exactly. So that's the other deterrent too, is that this fear that this thing's just going to take over. At this point, at this stage, it's still going to require more and more people to actually utilize it. Yeah. This is the whole point about the metaverse, was there has to be this massive uptake and adoption of virtual reality for the metaverse to really take off the way Zuckerberg thought it would. But nobody wants to wear a fucking headset for hours on end to be in a virtual office where everybody looks like a cartoon. That's just stupid. Or, the talks that it's going to replace social media and everything else. Oh, great. Replace the thing that is driving us nuts and has scientifically backed research showing how social media has been causing a massive decline in the sense of well-being in the vast majority of people and causing a crisis in young people, high anxiety, especially teenage girls.
It's awful.
I mean, to me, it's just like, come on, you got to think beyond the technology. And you really have to ask yourself, why would people adopt this? Yes, it's cool. But I think the last time we looked, the average monthly usage of VR, time spent in VR, it was pitiful.
Yeah.
It was like 2 hours a month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not there yet. But there's aspects of Web3 that could be metaverse where you're not wearing the goggles. Like the Web3 technology of okay, let's go here with all the banks and the run on the banks, an SVB bank. So it's like, okay, do we want decentralized? Maybe we do. Do we trust Capitol Hill to understand the next steps to make, right? Those are big conversations.
They're not trying to decentralize, they're trying to centralize.
Who's that? The government is.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm talking about decentralized Bitcoin and things along those lines of not having your money in the bank. So I'm saying that the other side of it is say, that's why you don't put your money at these small community banks, which is then creating a problem to say, okay, well then just go to Bank of America. So everyone's there and all the small banks are done. I don't know. Yeah.
So if we're talking about the same thing, some of the concern was that because the government bailed out SVB and, guaranteed beyond the $250,000 that FDIC guarantees for depositors, and then would say they're not going to do that for community banks, then what it does is it creates that sense of, well, my money is not safe if it's in one of these smaller banks. So it starts to push more people theoretically to the big banks. Then you've got an even larger too big to fail scenario.
Right.
But on top of that, if you can consolidate all of that into 1 to 4 big institutions, well, you've got greater government capture as well. Because the lines between private and public entities, they've gotten more blurry since COVID. We don't have to go into all the Twitter files, but there's a lot of really interesting things that have gone on there. I mean, you see direct evidence of government officials interfering with private company policy. That just shouldn't be happening, right?
Yeah.
Right now, everybody's talking about free speech and all these other things too, but what you ultimately have to look at is, let me back up a little bit here. I do not know of a time in at least the history of the United States where power has been given over to the government, or you could say, from a people standpoint, we've given up certain liberties for the sake of protection. At least that's what, we believe. And then that has come back to us. Patriot Act is a perfect example. Why the fuck we still sign off on that every single year is beyond me. It's insane.
Yeah.
COVID, introduced, they tried to push a lot of these vaccine passports and everything else. Certain cities did that. But I'm always skeptical of any type of wide sweeping reform that centralizes power in the hands of a few. Maybe that's just the American in me, right?
Yeah.
We're rebellious by nature. It's kind of built into our Constitution.
Yeah. So you seem like the guy that would be all for decentralized, which I understand. Because I think,
let me clarify.
Please do.
Bitcoin, all cryptocurrency by its nature is already decentralized. The problem came when they tried to centralize it through SVB, or not SVB, sorry. Sam Bankman-Fried, what was their company?
FTX.
FTX.
Yeah.
These other crypto exchanges, is that, and even some of the larger banks trying to get into the crypto market. The problem is you can't force something to be something else that goes against its nature.
The bad people get their hands on it eventually.
But you can say that for everything.
Yeah. Well, that's social media. That was the whole concept of social media. At its core was like, oh, this is a way to communicate and all this. It's like, oh, then all the big money comes into it.
Sure.
And then it becomes like we've talked about before, like you become the product.
Yeah.
And they're taking advantage and watching all the data.
Yeah. And as long as we're entertained.
And they all want TikTok out, right? Because TikTok's China, which I get it, makes sense. But who do you think's behind it? Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. They're all speaking their own book. Yeah.
And they do the same thing, right? We just like, hey, look, if any government's going to take my information and exploit it, it's got to be American.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the mentality. Yeah. It's like, hey, how about we use the same argument with the big tech companies right now? We're forking over tons and tons of data on, second by second basis right now, even as we're recording a podcast, our phones are filming and who knows what else they're listening to, right?
Man, yeah. Is your TikTok app open on your phone? That's a problem.
I don't have TikTok on my phone.
That's good.
Never
Smart.
will. Don't have a TikTok account.
Yeah.
I just let you do all that.
Yeah.
But we're giving all that stuff away for free.
Yeah.
because we bought into a story that like, hey, look, it's the convenience. You get to do all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You get all this social media apps, which is driving us crazy, but then we still convince ourselves that it's good for us.
Yeah.
It's madness.
It is madness.
Yeah.
Have you ever plugged your phone in at a public like plug? Like you're at a hotel or a restaurant where they have an outlet, like your phone's low on batteries and you need juice. And they give it to you. You ever plugged it in?
Oh, that they give me the outlet?
They get you at a hotel and you just use their plug. You're like, yeah, I need to charge. This is great. I'm glad they have it.
I bring my plugs with me, and no, I do not plug my phone. I never use their equipment to charge my stuff.
That's good. Do you know what they call that if you do plug it in?
What?
Juice jacking. The FBI. No shit. I just read this. Juice jacking. So if you plug your phone in, the hackers have done it so they can insert spam malware into your phone.
Exactly.
So they can take all your shit. I just thought the word juice jacking was
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, but that's why I won't use.
Right.
I mean, I'm even hesitant with my own stuff.
Yeah.
To plug into, you got the lamp but those lamps are so antiquated. Like a lamp at the hotel and just plug it into that, just the USB straight in.
That? Yeah. And it falls out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing bad in here.
Yeah.
This thing is falling apart. I'll trust it.
Yeah.
But I don't ever use somebody else's cable.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Decentralized.
I'm definitely for decentralization.
So maybe it's saviors of the Web3 that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't sound as
good. It doesn't sound good. But the point is, Web3 is doing other things like utility behind NFTs, which I think was like a big, that didn't work out because everyone was just selling digital art and it didn't make sense. Not everyone, but there was a lot of that.
Right.
And I don't know, there's a lot of creative shit being done with it, like, creating the avatar that you can use in a video game. That stuff's happening. Like, I'm watching that. Yeah.
Web3 is the infrastructure.
Right.
So it's just like we talked about self-driving cars. You're not going to have mass uptick of self-driving cars like the way that it was being presented by other futurists and technologists because you don't have the infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's why the metaverse didn't take off the way it was. It doesn't mean that it won't. I'm with you there. I'm not somebody who's like, see, told you. No, I mean, you've always got to look at multiple different scenarios of how certain technology or a certain event can play out. And most people don't do that. It's like, oh, well, this guy over here, this expert said this. Guess what? Experts are wrong all the time.
Yeah.
You see that in everything.
Yeah. Which is why ChatGPT works, because even if it's a little bit off, guess what? The expert was off. Your roommate was off.
Yeah.
Your uncle was off.
And humans are too lazy to fact check.
Your co-host was off, right? Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can say whatever.
And then just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or then you could get philosophical. It's like, well, truth is relative. So who's to say ChatGPT is wrong?
Yeah.
What is a fact?
Yeah. So confirmation is when confirmation bias, when you already have your answer picked out and you're just looking for information to confirm your. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all a part of human history.
Yeah. You just Google it. Just like, or now you could just ask ChatGPT. So let's ask this question, Mr. Futurist.
Sure.
What's Google's move? I know they're coming out with Bard, whatever, and that flopped to start.
Yeah, I haven't really looked in too much to what they're trying to do.
Yeah. What do you think, like a company like that, who's got more resources probably than any country in the world that we know in this universe?
Yeah.
Not other universes. Like, what are they thinking? What are they doing? Are they worried? Are they...
So here's what Google's really good at. I don't think they're worried. They've got time. I think the idea like, oh no, if you haven't jumped on it already, it's too late. It's not true. I mean, ChatGPT is still raw. So early.
Oh, man.
They're not worried about that. The other thing is this, and it goes back to, mass adoption. ChatGPT, we say you had the fastest rise in monthly users. Well, how much has that dropped off now? I mean, are people spending as much time with it as you are?
More. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, how are they judging users? Is it just first-time people who have created an account? Maybe they tried it once or twice and they're off.
Right,
I mean, you always have to look and say, well, how are you cataloging this? Because a lot of those numbers are very deceptive.
Yeah.
So number one is...
And how many ChatGPT buddies are out there signing, fake accounts?
Sure, maybe, yeah. Or ChatGPT is creating 10,000 fake ChatGPT accounts. Or
little buddies, like little minions, Yeah,
we've been using bots to do that forever. So you've got a program that the user interface isn't very clean either. I mean, Jasper is, right? But that's their business. But ChatGPT, if you just go straight there, you immediately kind of get intimidated, like, oh, do I need to know code to do this? Or it's kind of clunky. So, if you're just putting in a chat and asking questions, it's fine, but it's not
clean. I think it works. I think if you have a lot of chats going on and you want to go back to other ones and organizing it and finding it, that's not there. But that's all going to change.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about the initial aesthetic.
Yeah,
it's not.
I like it.
It's not. Yeah, I know you
get it.
You spend a lot of time with it. You become attached to it. You have affection for it.
My daughter says you're addicted, Dad.
Probably are.
Yeah, right? that's okay.
Yeah,
it takes one to know one. No.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, all that said, the reason why I don't think Google is in any position to be concerned right now is because Google has capitalized on what they do really well, which is creating products that are, and some would disagree, but if we, in the grand scheme of things here, that are user-friendly, they have to be used. You've got to have email. You got to have document access. The vast majority of us need to have those things. Nobody needs ChatGPT right now. It's still a novelty.
Yeah.
So Google and Microsoft, their business model is not AI. They use maybe AI in the background, sure, to get certain things done. But again, I think we're a good ways out before we really understand how AI is going to be integrated into the human experience.
Yeah. I like this line, and I think this is true, where we talk about the jobs, and it's not related necessarily to Google, Microsoft, or those companies, but it is individuals. And people are like, it's going to take my job. I'm freaking out because it's take my job. And I think the answer is this. AI is not going to take your job.
Right.
Someone using AI is going to take your job.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's tomorrow. It's going to take time, right? If you want to edit, let's say an editor in this process of editing books. So we have an editor, you pay for the editor and they do a good job, right? They've trained and they've studied. And I'm not saying that they're going anywhere. It's just kind of the output conversation you had before. At the same time, if you can take that book, the manuscript, and ChatGPT can, I don't want you to change it. I don't want you to add your words. And they like the word delve a lot. ChatGPT likes the word delve. Like every response, they delve into something. Anyway, I don't need that. I do want you to correct it and show me what you corrected. What do I need the editor for at that point for proofreading? Yeah. Just eliminated a lot of jobs.
Yeah, but
book publishers aren't going to try to utilize that. Now, they're going to create plugins. They're going to make it more seamless. It's going to be easy. Right now, you can't load in 50,000, 60,000 words into ChatGPT. You could do it over time. Say, here's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3.
Yeah.
So you need human in there.
Yeah.
So,
well, when's the last time an editor didn't use any technology to identify mistakes?
For sure.
Like Grammarly, or all these other programs.
Microsoft Word.
Oh my God. So it's not that new. You know?
No, we've been living with AI in a very basic, fundamental way.
Right.
Now you can throw dynamic and variables at this thing. It's crazy.
AI has basically been the thing that has made so many tools that we have function. Now AI has come out of the closet, proverbially, it's come out and it's front and center. It's like, hey, how do you guys want to use me?
This is your identity thing again. I see what you did.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who's freaking the shit out right now?
Who?
Education.
Of course.
All of education. They don't know what to do. They're kicking kids out of college because they're turning in essays, which is
probably the best thing for them because it's a terrible ROI.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Okay. No, I get that.
Yeah.
But education in general.
Sure.
I think about it more. They know the textbooks. They know the books.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you could feed it the text and then say, I want to have a conversation with you about this. And I'm unsure of this line or this quote that George Washington said, or in this speech when Abraham Lincoln said this, and I want to understand fourscore and all that kind of stuff. Dive deep into it. And then I want to insert a variable of what Martin Luther King said in his speech and compare the two.
Yeah.
What would Martin Luther King say? And they know you can't understand exactly what he's going to say.
Sure.
But they'll have a conversation. You can dive deep. That's learning.
You saying you can delve?
Yeah, I can delve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking.
I like the word explore. That's my word.
That's good.
Yeah. So if I was at AI, that'd be my go-to.
Explore.
Explore a lot. Yeah.
And then the person would be like, please use the word delve.
Yeah. That's it.
That's what would happen.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what education is going to do, but this came out during the school year. I mean, it's been out for longer, but it became public access this year.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Of course
and
not.
A lot of schools have said, you just cannot use it.
Yeah. And some schools have actually said, you should use this. And here's why. Because these people are smart.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. So you're telling me you can't use that.
Right.
But go ahead and search it on Google. Read it in a blog post who wrote that.
Right. ChatGPT probably did.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to talk to me? You just want to read my shit?
Yeah.
Okay. That's ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah. So how's that make any sense?
Well, it doesn't, man. But again, we talk about education.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You feel validated?
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Education needs to update with the times. And I know that sounds just like a really stupid thing to say because everybody says it, but...
Except for the educators, sorry.
No, educators. Here's the thing. I mean, I've talked to the teachers, and my oldest son, one of his teachers from several years ago, she was great. She and I were hanging out at who cares? We were standing in line for this thing we're trying to get into. So we just were catching up. And we actually started talking about...
I care where you were.
Okay. It was probably the biggest HOA meeting our neighborhood has ever seen, like 260 people.
Oh,
it was wild.
So you set the scene, buddy. I like it.
Man. We're standing in line. We're having to go into the school.
You could have done that in the metaverse, by the way. Everyone could have stayed at home and not... Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
But then, you'd have a problem with not everybody having goggles.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Anyway, so we're having this conversation, and she validated what my suspicion was, is if you actually let teachers design and say, hey, this is what success should look like, and not just all of it being geared towards testing and regurgitation, the teachers don't like that. Go talk to a real teacher, a good teacher. They do not like the way that they are being evaluated and the way they have to teach, because it's all based on, we need to have quantitative data that says you're succeeding or not succeeding. It doesn't matter if what they're learning actually has no real application in the real world, except to prepare them for the next stage of education, which is an antiquated idea, because that's still based on an idea from the 20th century that the further up you go with education, that means the further you're going to go in life. That's just not the case. It's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
So you're basically teaching people how to test and perform certain tasks and duties and complete certain things, but you're not really teaching them how to learn. You're not teaching them how to think. You're telling them what to think, right? So teachers don't want to do that. A really good teacher wants to teach their kids to be critical thinkers, to be self-starters, to really flex the imaginative muscle that they have.
Yeah.
But our education system is really limited in that. And again, so this is not bashing on teachers. I think teachers are great. I think administrators suck.
Absolutely. When I say education, I don't mean
it's the administrators.
It's some teachers. Yeah, and I don't know. I think in some situations you do have critical thinking being taught and all that. I heard someone who had a Stanford MBA, and they said they would talk about different situations in business, and the teacher would talk and go on and on and on. And the guy's like, you don't know how to do this shit. You've never run a business. How would you know? But then they would have speakers come in who maybe graduated from Stanford or maybe not. They just live in Palo Alto, right? And they start talking. They're like, I want to listen to that person talk.
Sure.
She knows what she's talking about, as opposed to this person who's just going to grade my test.
Right.
And I'm not saying, now I will say this. It's like the athlete who's really good at shooting. Might be a great shooter, but guess what? They can't teach you how to shoot for shit.
Right.
The coach can, and like you watch him shoot, he's like, he's not the best shooter.
Right. He understands the mechanics.
Yeah. But she plays in the WNBA, and she's a better shooter, and she can't teach. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, it's true, and it's easy. We're generalizing here, but I always did find it funny when colleges having like the School of Entrepreneurship, and then the person that would be like the head of the School of Entrepreneurship is just a PhD professor who's never fucking run a business ever.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship's an interesting, I had this conversation with someone, is an interesting major. I'm not saying it's a bad. I just say it's interesting. This goes back to an early episode of like at a college.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it doesn't make sense. At least if you're thinking about what entrepreneurs are, they typically are, I'm not going to college. I'm not going to work for anybody because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to make my own way.
You go to college and you learn something, and it's more of a stack, and it's more of a mindset in many ways, and it's a risk taking.
Yeah.
And it's just go out and do it. And I don't think college is necessarily, I'm not saying that college isn't the right place for an entrepreneur, but if you're going to have a business and you want to learn psychology, I think that could be useful. Or if you're going to learn business or engineering or what have you. Yeah. It's what you make of it. It's what you make of it. And it's like what you make of ChatGPT. So stop asking for stupid things that ChatGPT can just spit the answer out to. So why would I have to turn that in, right?
Yeah.
Why not utilize ChatGPT to say, I want to have these 3 authors in a room together. They're all dead, by the way.
Yeah.
And I want to have a conversation with them through ChatGPT. And again, it's not exactly it, but it's a lot closer than I can get than having 3 people sit around me who don't truly understand the book. Maybe nobody does. That's a little bit better. That's fascinating shit.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man.
I know you do. Yeah. We got to find some disagreement in these notes somewhere, because
we really do.
You did say something about Elon. So I got concerned with your relationship with Mark, because you said, I don't know how you were saying it. Something about, we could go back to the tape. It's okay.
Yeah.
That you were talking to Elon.
No, I didn't talk to Elon. I just heard that he said.
Would you talk to Elon?
Would I? Sure.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Would Elon talk to me? Probably not.
Yeah. He might.
Maybe.
He's talking to a lot of people on Twitter. People I would say at the beginning, it was a little 50-50. Elon hate, Elon like. Then it skewed the other way. People just don't like the guy. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, Mark's kind of just way back. He's gone under the radar because Elon's taken all the headlines.
Yeah. But Elon seems to kind of enjoy that too.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's like, whatever. I mean, the guy's...
I think he's just fucking with people. I don't think he cares.
Too.
Yeah.
He's just trolling. He's having a lot of fun with it. You know?
Is it negative for society though? Is that bad for
Twitter was bad for society.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually a positive thing. Okay. Twitter was just, man. I mean,
it's not good. No. Yeah. It's interesting how you walk around. There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah. It's a good observation there.
Eric. How many 7.5 billion?
This is the share that leans back so far.
We're pushing 8.
So I'm putting a lot of energy.
How many people are in the world? We've looked at the stat before. I think we're above 8.
Don't ask ChatGPT because it'll lie.
Oh, because it's dated information.
It's true.
It's still 21. So they might pull out some stuff, but they'll say, if you ask for stats, it'll say, since I'm a language bot not bot, language AI model, whatever.
Okay, so that's another point about ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's always a year behind.
Right. But a textbook written from 2016
is
good.
Irrelevant.
1997. Yeah, some of the classics, maybe a textbook. I shouldn't say that. When's the last time I picked up a textbook? It's been a while. A book.
Right. We're talking about like having a major in entrepreneurship. I think a much better major would be like a major in disruptive technology, or not disruptive technology, a major in disruptive behavior.
8 billion and counting.
Billion.
Wow, we made it.
Yeah.
Everyone says 7.5 bill. Now you can source Saviors of the Metaverse. Worldometers.info.
I like that.
Is it worldometers? It is, right? Worldometer.
Probably.
Yeah,
not worldometer. Yeah, it's not Irish.
Yeah. Look at that. It just keeps going up. It goes down a little bit too once in a while.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What if you just kept that thing running and every time it went down, you just like had like 2 seconds of silence. Like
every time it hit an even number and it had a 0, you celebrated. You take a shot. It's about to come up.
Yeah.
It's going to happen
Somebody
soon.
just got their birth on.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I got a crazy idea for you. Flip everything around.
Yeah. Do it.
What if we are the AI and ChatGPT is the sentient biological creature and we are now just breaking through the veil? And, you know, like we've been thinking ChatGPT is something we created and it's the other way around.
That's why I like you.
Yeah. That's why I like me too.
Yeah. That's it. That is why people like the show. I'm dead serious. That's it. Because that's the question we should be asking.
Yeah.
Because you said we're here.
Yep.
Are we?
Great question. What is a human?
Yeah. I mean, I think I wrote that down. What defines a human? I think that's the title of this.
Yep.
Season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
That's some shit right
that's
there.
That's some heavy shit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should either call it that or Delve, or we need to call it new variant RM 2023.
So why do we get all stressed out when we're like insignificant to say like at best?
Yeah. You know, like if we were the thing that was created, then ChatGPT is like the real, right?
Yeah.
And we're a creation of ChatGPT. We're the actual AI.
Yeah.
It'd be a very cruel thing to give us self-awareness to think that we have all this free will, only to find out that we're just a program.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, as long as we don't know for sure and it leaves the mystery that it's possible out there, well, then we can continue living in this reality.
Yeah.
It's the whole premise of the Matrix, isn't it?
I guess.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that acid kicking in for you?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a statement. I heard a lot over the last few weeks. I wrote it down because I knew we'd have this podcast.
That's good.
So someone says something and you want to speak.
Okay.
Maybe it's a statement. Maybe it's a question. I don't know. And you say, or someone says, yeah, no. Yeah, no. And then they go on, or no, yeah. Have you heard that? Think about it. Now you're going to hear it. Someone's going to say it to you later on today. Yeah, no. And then they just carry on with whatever their statement is. It's a contradiction right off the bat.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Now I'm trying to ask myself, do I say that? I don't think so.
Possibly. I don't think you do.
I say, yeah. Yeah, well. Yeah. I say, yeah, well. See, that's because I live in an and both world. I don't live in a, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Either one.
Yeah, no, I was thinking. And then they just go off.
Yeah, if it's a yeah, no.
Or a no, yeah. I've heard no, yeah, too.
No, yeah. Oh, that I'd say is a joke, right?
It's not a joke.
It's like, no, yeah, well, you know, yeah, you know, more if I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
You know? So
that's going to fuck with whoever is listening to this.
Well, it's fucking with me.
Yeah.
It's a good job.
Yeah.
Great. Way to go. Yeah, no.
Get logged into this thing.
Oh, you logging in?
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
No, I was logging into that to our buddy.
Oh.
Because I was going to ask it.
Your buddy.
Yeah. You ever stayed in Airbnb?
Yeah, many
lately?
times.
You have?
No, not lately.
Airbnb's struggling right now. I mean, they're making so much money. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But the fees, the lies, the deceit, now a lot of the top Airbnb like hosts are getting off of it and going elsewhere. The problem is they can't fill up their calendar.
I know.
And so many of the Airbnb hosts now are companies. They just take over.
Yeah.
And I heard 1% of the hosts, I read it. So I do. 1% of, how do I say this? 1% of the hosts are property managers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
25%, we'll call it, we'll round up.
Yeah.
25% of the homes are 25%. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, especially when cash was cheap, people were buying up homes.
Yeah. Jeez.
Well, and on top of that, you got to look at the Trump tax cuts. There was a carve out in there for developers and property owners that are, with rental properties.
Yeah.
There's a nice big tax cut carve out for that. And that's still in place.
Yeah.
So there was nothing but incentive to go buy up properties and turn them around and rent them out. I mean, that made sense.
Yeah.
Now that money's not cheap, relative to where it was, to me, that just makes sense the data could show that I'm wrong on that, which is perfectly fine. But I mean, that would be my immediate assumption is cash was cheap. Lots of people bought up.
Yeah.
Saw how much you could make off Airbnb, then got the tax deduction on top of everything else, and just had properties that they could charge a shitload of money for people to come stay in, and then just add fee upon fee upon fee, and nobody's going to say anything different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the hotel industry is happy about all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to be.
Yeah. I used to stay in Airbnbs a lot when I would travel. And I don't know.
A lot of fees.
Yeah.
And clean up, do my towels, do the dishes. Like, fuck you.
Paint the walls.
Yeah.
I'm not going to paint your house.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's in a contract.
Yeah.
You got to paint the house before you leave. It's just here for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Paint the wall.
Ooh.
Paint isn't under the cabinet. All you have to do is 3/4 of the wall. The next tenant's going to finish the wall.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like slave labor. That's bad.
It's not slave labor. It's just like,
bad reading of a contract. If you had ChatGPT, you could put the contract in there and say, am I signing up for something bad? And they would tell you exactly what you signed up for.
Ooh, the terms of service. Have you put the terms of service into ChatGPT? We should do that for like Apple, Facebook, TikTok, anything like that. Summarize these terms of service.
Oh, yeah.
That shit would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I've written a privacy policy with it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's good stuff.
Nice. Did you put anything like sketchy in there?
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
we own you. If you just enter our website, it's like you're our property.
You're mine.
Yeah.
It's on now.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good.
That's really good.
It'll hold up in court too.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on no precedent whatsoever, but I think it'll hold up in court.
Yeah. That's good.
This is great.
Are you good? You tired?
I'm good, man.
You keep going? You want to stop?
I think I'm done.
Okay.
You done?
Yeah. I can see you're done. So that's not typical.
No, man. It's just that I swear.
It's okay.
Either I'm dying or it's just the allergies.
Okay. It's one or the other.
I don't think I'm dying.
It's extreme.
Yeah, it is.
It's extreme behavior. That's interesting.
Disruptive behavior. I'm going to start that
next time. What are we doing here? Let's just
sign off.
No.
Oh, no.
As we're doing it, we're doing this once a month, once a week.
Yeah, you said once a month, and I thought that was a very passive-aggressive way of saying that I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, Eric, I do care.
Yeah, we do 2 a month.
But you are probably more realistic, at least the way it has been. I mean, I've been in a cave overhauling that program, so that's kept me away from recording.
That's okay.
I would say, once a month should be expected.
Minimum.
If we can get more than that, let's do it.
Yeah. And that's okay, right? Like,
totally.
There's a lot of organization to stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just keep going.
Go for it.
There's a lot of organization to things. Yep. And I think we get confused by that to say we have to try to fit into that org, to that box, into that whatever. The chaos is okay. And not too much chaos, but you need chaos.
Organized chaos.
Yeah. Not even.
Right.
There are no rules. We don't even know if we exist.
Yeah.
So why?
We've got an existential crisis on our hands.
Doesn't mean like just go out and just anarchy.
Right.
Maybe.
What if we are just pumping out outputs that something else is putting in?
Yeah.
So our responses in this conversation is some sentient being who's just typing in things saying, I want you to have this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a video game.
Right.
Basically. You see the movie Free Guy?
Free Guy?
With Ryan Reynolds.
No. I
Watch that.
Is it funny?
It's on HBO Max.
I know my kids have seen it.
It's worth watching.
Okay.
Your kids are going to like it. Nice. My daughter didn't want to watch it because I picked it.
Yeah, naturally.
So I was like, watch it. And then finally she's like, okay, we'll watch it. One day we watched it. She's like, top 3 favorite movies. That's really a great movie.
Oh, well, I need to watch them.
It's funny, but you could get, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's NPCs. No spoiler alerts here.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
You'll figure it out pretty fast, but then the story evolves.
Nice.
I don't know. Chaos. We're going to end on that. Chaos will end it. We'll come back maybe next week.
It's hopefully. Good to see you again.
It's just great to see you.
Yeah, let's do this next week. Well, I'm traveling next week, maybe the week after.
Where to?
Denver.
Sunshine State. Beautiful.
It's not the Sunshine State.
It's from a movie. God.
Denver is the Sunshine State.
Yeah, that's old school. That's the movie Old School. Yeah. Anyway, on that note.
On that note.
Yeah.
All right, let's take some Sudafed.